Hello, NixCon. I'm introducing Aaron, and he's going to talk about Finix. You have the stage.
Thank you. Sorry, just one moment here. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm here to talk about Finix, and the title of my talk is an experimental OS featuring Finit as PID1 to explore the NixOS design space. So, content warning, I'll talk about init systems other than systemd. So if anybody's triggered by that, I apologize in advance, though I do give you the consolation that I love systemd, probably more than most people here. So we'll go with that. Okay, so who am I? Anders on GitHub / Nix community platforms. NixOS user since 2018. After that, introduced Nix at work. Never looked back like so many here. Nix packages contributor, but specifically, Nix package is great, it's awesome, but I'm interested in what we can do with those packages, so NixOS is my area of focus. Incidentally, I also wrote a deployment tool, teraflops, which was kind of like a NixOps type clone when that sort of went downhill. And I wrote that sort of like to tide me over until NixOps 4 came, so I was super happy to see Robert's talk yesterday. Okay, so what is Finix? Nix-based OS, very similar to NixOS, very, very similar. So what does that mean? It was built using Nixlang, the Nix packages package set, and the Nix module system. So, is that NixOS configuration.nix or Finix? It's both. That's how similar it is. What is Finix? Well, there's got to be something different or I wouldn't be up here, right? So it doesn't use any or many modules from NixOS, given the title of the talk, and not using systemd. I think that probably comes as no surprise. I think at this point maybe there's like some of the XDG module stuff like icons and things like that I pull in, but not a whole lot. It's mostly different. So this is sort of an explanation right there of one of the big ways it's different. It uses finit instead of systemd as the init/service manager. So as we can see here, very similar to systemd, you have something like finit.services instead of systemd.services. You can provide a description. Conditions are kind of like before or after type things that we're familiar with in systemd, and a command to execute for the service manager. So in this case, let's just fire up network manager. Again, different, but very similar. So what's finit? Definitely need to sort of touch on that at least briefly during this talk, of course. So finit as PID1. Finit is an alternative to sysv init and systemd focused on small and embedded Linux systems, although fully usable on server and desktop systems. That's a quote from the website. They have a really friendly and attentive developer maintainer, Troglobit. Great person to work with. I've submitted a couple PRs. Very, very responsive, very nice. So finit. What does it feature? Well, run levels instead of targets like systemd. But aside from that, one-shot tasks, just like systemd, services. And it even has a compatibility mode to sort of support the old sysv init start-stop scripts as well. Process supervision, again, very similar to systemd. Can source environment files, conditions, which quite a bit different than targets in systemd, but again, achieves the same outcome. So you know, before and after type ordering of scripts here. It's not just it's worth saying declarative before and after ordering. So that sort of separates it from some other init systems like non-systemd init systems. Readiness notification, which is a great feature. Like S6, the init system has its own protocol for readiness notification, just like systemd does, like type notify or notify reload. Finit supports both, which is very nice for again, ordering things and making sure that you don't have services starting before they should. Limited support for temp files, which I know some people don't like them, but they're so darn handy to have once in a while, so the author thought it would be a good idea to sort of at least include very basic support for that. Gets rid of some bash, which is nice. Pre and postscript actions. And one really nice feature is very integrated C group support. So you can create new C groups, assign stuff to C groups, and do some things like all the C group settings, that sort of good stuff that some people really appreciate. If I built an OS, why not systemd? When I was conceiving Finix, I really thought about using systemd, but because I like it so much. But I thought, wouldn't it be fun to try something different? I, use systemd a lot, use it every day at work, home, all that stuff. Let's try something else, it'll be fun. And novel at worst case scenario. So Finit, again, I looked at it, and from the feature list you just saw, the snippets I show you, I think you can quickly draw the conclusion that Finit probably fits pretty nicely into a Nix-based OS as a simple systemd replacement. Again, very similar here. Another really killer feature here of Finit is that there's no complex switch to configuration script required at all. And maybe some people haven't gone down that alley and read that script, and good for you. Don't, it's terrible. DOSJ, I believe, he did a lot of work on that, made it really good, but it's still a disaster of logic to read through and sort of parse and figure out. So when you activate your system and reload everything, what do we stop? What do we start? What do we reload? What do we, all this sort of stuff. Finit implicitly handles it. So I didn't have to write a single line, which was super appealing for using Finit, because that's a daunting task usually. And then finally, AM Joseph, last year he gave that NixOS talk about his Nix-based OS, and one of the things that sort of stuck out to me was that he said, it's great to have competition in this space, and I see there's other init systems around and stuff, and I think that's good. That's good. So why would I create Finix? Anybody who's used NixOS for a while probably has, a couple nits here and there, some things that they would love to see improved or problems they've run across or whatever. And everything has shortcomings, missed opportunities. So that's one motivating factor. But have you ever tried to do, tree-wide changes in NixOS or big ideas? It's not easy. There's a lot of modules that directly interact with each other. You can end up having to modify, 50 source files of things that you don't even care about just to get something to evaluate, right? So it'd be nice to have something that's really small, doesn't have, hundreds and hundreds of modules that can be impacted by, tiny little changes when you're experimenting with ideas in the NixOS design space. And then from there, when you can start experimenting, you can see, what are the design trade-offs that impact the system. You can sort of see, did I actually have a good idea? Could this scale? And it's a small OS like this is a good idea or a good place to see if those ideas potentially might work. So if those ideas work, it could give you a better confidence to say, let's bring this back to NixOS and let's try to make these big changes I wanted to. And lastly, why would I create Finix? Nix packages makes this easy. Excuse me. So, how does it make it easy? As I said at the beginning, I reuse Nix packages, Nixlang, and the NixOS module system. That's a lot of scaffolding right there for building systems. There's a lot you can do with that. When you get to that point, you have these things that you can use to build a system. Maybe you want to start conceptually swapping things out and see what happens, There's getting to be more and more of these systems. They're kind of popping up all over the place, so I don't know. Maybe we're on to some different ideas, but what is it? NixNG by Richard, Magic RB. He came up with that some time ago, a few years now. He said, what if I swap out systemd for dinit? Then again, I mentioned the NixOS, where they said, what if we swap out the module system for infuse, which is a neat thing. And then there's the Nix-BSD project, which is very interesting. They said we'd basically like to swap out the Linux kernel for BSD kernel and do something based on that. Right. So yeah, again, Nix packages makes this easy, and those are some great examples of people doing these things and having some success at it. So on top of that, you can rebuild your system with confidence, right? I mean, you could try to build your own Linux distro with, whatever package manager, but of course, especially if you're building a distro, you're gonna bork your system almost repeatedly, and rollbacks are very nice at that point. So you can do anything you want and be confident you're really not gonna end up out of luck and have to reinstall or whatever. And yeah, I feel like pretty much anybody with the tools that Nix provides could really build their own small, micro, whatever type Nix-based operating system. And yeah, maintaining it doesn't have to be a whole lot of work. So yeah, I built this to sort of experiment around. What experiments have I really done? Not as many as I would have liked to, but some still. I said I need something small to sort of run some experiments, and then side quest, build a small OS, and now back to the main quest, I guess. But I've done a few, and they've been informative and interesting. So a smaller opt-in module set instead of hundreds of defaults. I think a lot of NixOS users understand like the evaluation pain that we go through. And one of the proposed solutions to that is a smaller opt-in module list. Well, if you start from scratch, trust me, you don't have a lot, so problem solved. It worked out really well. So another one was the provider's namespace for abstractions. I did. Robert has a modular services PR that he was working on, merged into NixOS, I'll talk about. And then again, I didn't use systemd, I used finit, but maybe I could replace that. So I'll talk about each of those again. I sort of mentioned with the smaller opt-in module set, again, reduce evaluation time. Surprises between changes is another one. When you're, pulling in all the modules by default with NixOS, sometimes they interact with each other. So even if you didn't have a module that you cared about on your system, it still might impact your system, right? So things like that. Then the provider's namespace I was talking about. So Ibizaman, he had this great idea, decoupling services. This was really inspirational to me. We talked about it after NixCon. He's working on like an RFC and a PR about this, but yeah, we sort of over the last year, we sort of chatted back and forth a little bit, bumped some ideas across each other, and I came up with like a much less powerful but much simpler idea around this sort of idea. So again, if you're not just using systemd and you want to be able to like swap different software out, whatever, and even if you are using systemd, you still might, but this may be less of a relevant example with cron. But again, so providers that schedule tasks, now I can just say, well, I need log rotate, I want it to run roughly hourly, and I want it to do this. And then, yeah, there's a cron backend, fcron, and mcron, whatever you want. You can just sort of like have these interfaces, contracts, providers, whatever you have, as like an in-between for two modules. So we don't have to like strictly depend on cron or fcron or whatever, and we can sort of like split that way. So I think this is like a really good idea. My idea might be a little bit too simple, or it might just be the perfect level of simplicity. I'm not sure yet. I haven't tried it on too many concepts to see how it scales, but like, I don't know, like if you're talking about device managers, for example, udev versus mdev versus mdevd versus like, there's actually a ton of other ones. I don't think this pattern would actually scale overly well there, but yeah, I mean, maybe the contracts RFC would scale better, it's hard to say, but for simple things, definitely this works really well. And then modular services, I'm gonna sort of gloss over this a little bit. It's this cool PR I mentioned that Robert has. It basically means you can write like modules that you can run not just on NixOS, but other OSs as well. So I thought, great, implemented it on Finix, and now I can run modular services from NixOS on here. It's pretty cool. It's a work in progress. If anybody wants to contribute to that, it'd be really neat. There's a lot of features that it's missing, but there's a lot of possibilities there. And that would help all sorts of systems, like the Nix-BSD project I mentioned before. They're interested as well. NixNG, interested in it, be good. Replace finit with Finit. This is another init system. I didn't do this, but there was somebody who was interested. You know, I saw we were working on some similar things. I reached out to them. I said, hey, do you want to sort of collaborate? So Finix has 2 init systems. It's pretty cool. That one actually has NGI funding. So somebody funded is kind of working on Finix. Pretty neat. It's not me though, but yeah, there's a bunch of features to that are pretty cool. It's definitely interesting though. Struggles. So yeah, I have the system. Yeah, seatd versus elognd. I mean, if you're totally in the systemd world, this may not mean much to you. Sorry. Polkit. If you're using PolicyKit and you're not running elognd, which I do not, fprintd is my fingerprint reader. It's a little bit of a challenge to get working, but you can. So there's trade-offs. mdevd versus eudev. UDEV is the dominating factor here in this space, so it's hard to sort of switch off that. Exec ones versus like there's no user level service manager in finit, for example, and some more stuff like that. Future, yeah, maybe split some of the modules off into like a main, universe, multiverse, Ubuntu style thing to see how that works. It's an interesting experiment. I want to replace UDEV with mdev, but I'm having trouble. If anybody knows anything about libinput and wants to help me, hit me up on Sunday. And just, I'll continue to run it because I'm having fun. Yeah, so I want to mention again the Nix-BSD project. I think that's super important because that would be like a gateway drug for FreeBSD, OpenBSD users to come into our community. They think really differently than we do, so it'd be great to have them. Thank you. Any questions? And I thought it'd be fun to give a demo, so if I can, I will try really quickly. If I can. Okay. So here's my demo. Thank you. Questions? Do we have one?
Do we have any questions?
One there.
One there.
Building Docker images has shown me how hard it is to keep systemd out of the closure. If you run nix-tree, if you have it installed, or nix run nix packages nix-tree, do you find systemd on your system?
I do, and I'm glad it is for some purposes. I mentioned finit, some of the features it has systemd notification readiness. So when a daemon starts, finit will put an environment variable specifying a socket location, and then the application can tell finit, I'm ready. finit has really cool condition system, as I sort of talked about. Yeah, so that's actually super useful to me to keep that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry. There we go. Yeah, so you see a ready status and a running status on a lot of these. It's great to know something's running, but it's way more useful to know that it's ready. So systemd is there, and I'm happy about that. Yeah, but actually, in a really cool way, the finit guy created like an SD daemon compatibility layer. So I've actually recompiled a couple pieces of software without systemd and with his instead, and it, like almost surprisingly, worked really well. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Why do you want to replace UDEV?
For fun. Like, it's as simple as for fun. Like, I've gotten rid of elognd and using seatd instead. You know, like, I'm almost completely out of systemd components to remove. UDEV is the last one. And yeah, I mean, a couple people chuckled at me because I'm really a huge systemd fanboy. So they're like, what is this side quest? And I'm like, I don't know, it's fun. Yeah.
Okay, we got 30 more seconds. Any quick questions? Otherwise, I'm sure you will stick around a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be around, and I'll actually be around on the hack day again. So, yeah, thank you very much for your time and attention.
Cool. Very exciting talk.